everybody, welcome back to Women Carry Knives. On the table in front of us, we are taking a look at something weird.
It's a spatula.
It is a spatula. I was just telling a therapeutic edge that every time I pulled this knife out, it just made me want to go bake something. It just looks like I don't know. Anyways, hey, you guys, do me a favor. Hit that like button. It does help the channel out. And if you are not a subscriber, I'd love to have you here all the time. If you could hit that subscribe button, that would just be awesome. So, what is this? Well, besides being something completely different and totally funky, this is the Spyderco Parata. And Parata actually means prepared or ready to bake. And it is a trippy knife. I don't know what else, but it's so freaking cool. You know, sometimes you see knives and you're just like, what is that? And I really wasn't sure about this one. It was so odd. But holy crap, this thing is so comfortable in hand. And it has been a lot of fun. Now, this came, I don't know if I said that, but this did come from Napster, our friend of ours, Napster Ninja. Some of you might know who that is from the lives and the chats and everything. And he was gracious enough to let us borrow this. And Napster, this is just, you have some of the neatest knives. It is really cool. And this is one that I had never seen before. It is just a trip. I don't even know where to go with it. It's such a trip. But let's tell you some more things about it. I did not look up on the price on this one, so I cannot tell you what that is. But I can tell you you're going to get this VG10 blade. And the swell on this thing, the belly is just, I mean, it is a spatula. It is crazy. But let me tell you, this is an absolutely wonderful kitchen knife. This is going to let you do so many things just because of the size of that blade. And, you know, I actually used it to cut open a box and actually cut the package that was inside because the blade was so big because of the swell on that. The roundness of it is just wonderful because you can just, I mean, this long draw cut just pulling, it's just wonderful. I love that. You've got some great G10 handles on here. They've got just enough grip to it that it's absolutely wonderful. I love that. And then you've got the patented Spyderco stop lock. Well, what's a stop lock? For those of you that have not seen this, the stop lock was actually introduced for the first time with this knife. And what the stop lock is these are not thumb studs. The stop lock is where you're going to use this rather than your typical like axis lock where you're going to pull down. This one you actually are going up. So I'm going to do this from the underside just so you can see. So if you're pushing up on it, can you see that? So you're going up, and that's how you're going to disengage it. It's a different design. It's really a trip. It's very cool because it's different. And I love sometimes being able to find something that's different. Now, it's not a knife that you're going to flip, obviously. It's very stiff, so you're not going to flip it. You can two-hand it, or you can simply roll it out with your trusty spider hole there. As I said, you would think that it would be really uncomfortable. Now, I do have to say that I do love the wire clip, but it is a bit of a hot point for me. So where it does rest in my hand, it is a little bit uncomfortable because it is high and it is square. But otherwise, if you're back on this knife, now, I had to use it for a little while for that clip to become a little bit cumbersome or a little bit annoying to me. But if I wasn't going to use this one for a long time, which this is definitely not going to be for me like a hard use knife, what I did love is if you get a piece of wood and you're whittling the wood, you can keep going. I mean, it's got a great curve to it. I think it's absolutely wonderful. You can choke up on this one. So I love that you kind of have that guard, that finger choil, but almost like that guard right there. I mean, you can really, and for small fingers or large fingers, you're going to really be able to choke up on that and get in there. And it does give you a lot more control. You can see, I mean, the handle itself, really, you know, most people are going to hold it back here. But if you're going to use this one, you can choke up. And that's giving me, if I had a whole nother hand, I could actually put that there. Haha. But you do have the ability to put a lanyard on this one. You have a nice little lanyard space there. You do have a wire clip, and your wire clip is nested into the liners and is reversible, as you can see here. but your clip screw does stick up quite a bit. Now, the only good part to that is that that screw is at the very top of the clip, which is really nice. Sometimes when they're down a little bit lower, it does cause a little bit of wear and tear on your jeans there. Now, this was one I actually carried in my back pocket and my waistband. It did not work in the front pocket. It just didn't, because it was just too wide. And like I said, women's jeans do not allow for that. But the back pocket, it was great, and also the waistband, both. So I did do a little wood whittling with it, and that was wonderful. I did use it in the kitchen. I did actually use it to spread something on a sandwich. So yes, it is a great little spreader too. You know, ergonomically, it has been really interesting to use. It's not your typical blade shape. It's not quite, it's almost karambity as far as the shape of it. Not the style, not, you know, the shape of the blade or anything, but the curvature of it, which is kind of nice, because you can really get in there. Let's do a couple size comparisons, because I want you guys to see this. So let's take a look at it next to the bug out. So lengthwise, we are talking about the same length, mostly because you have that curvature in your handle, okay? We'll take a look at it next to the Rat 2 for those that are familiar with the Rat 2. You know, you can try to put that up butt to butt there. So you do have about a ½ an inch on that. And let's go with the Para 2. Gives you kind of an idea there. And lastly, let's take a look next to our Benchmade here, which I consider a large knife. So, you know, I would have to put it's hard for me because I would put this in the medium to large category, but with that belly on that blade, I would put it as more of kind of a large, if that makes any sense. That's just my thing, you know, my opinion. If we take some full measurements on this one, so we're looking at a 3.5 inch blade with just under a 3¼ inch cutting edge. But again, your edge, you know, you've got so much cutting space that it's almost like having more than 3 inches there. Now your handle or your close length is going to be just over 4.5 inches, as you can see there. We're almost 4.75, I'm sorry, which is going to give you an overall of about 8 total inches. And I mean, it's really hard to measure just because the way it is, but if you're looking at this, you're looking at 8 inches. Now I'd like to give you guys ounces. You know, I should probably go centimeters. Someday I will get to the measurements that way for you guys, but for right now, we're going to do this in ounces and grams for you. So in ounces, we are looking at 2.9 ounces. So grams, that will give us, oops, 85, okay, 83. It just jumped around, so 83 grams. So really, it is a fairly light knife for the size. Now, you know, you're not getting, sorry about that, trying to put the scale away. You know, you do have G10 handles, which is going to make it a lot lighter. Now, it is going to be a little bit forward heavy because of the size of the blade and the shape of the blade. But I think when you've got it in hand and you've got it centered, it doesn't feel that forward heavy. But if you're just holding it normally back here, where normally people hold the knife, right? Not choking. If you're choking up on it, I mean, it's got great center weight. It's just perfectly weighted right there. It's so balanced and it's so wonderful. As I said, I have done things like paracord. I have done some cardboard and actually cut through one of my packages inside that. I did use it in the kitchen. It has been wonderful. It cleans up very nicely. It's been a really fun knife. If I found another one like this, maybe not even just Spyderco, but I think I would get, you know, I think it's because I like the leaf shape blade. And this is kind of like a giant size of the leaf shape. It's just really, it's really unique. And I think that's what I really like about it. I don't generally get knives like this for myself, but because of the uniqueness, this is definitely one I would probably add to my collection just because it is different. It's almost a conversation piece too. So, you know, as I keep my collection growing, I'm not always looking for knives that I'm always going to use. I do like to find knives that are unique or different, or, you know, something that can be a conversation piece or whatnot. And this is definitely one of those. So Napster, again, thank you so much for allowing us the opportunity to check this one out. It has been an absolute, just a fun time having this one. I'd love to find myself something like this, you know, the uniqueness of it. I really do love that. All right, you guys, that is the Spyderco Parata. And thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave it down in the comments section. Hey, if you're not a subscriber, I'd love for you to hit that subscribe button too. And until next time, take care.